The PR1 men's single scull race, it is a row over, but it is a row over for the world champion in the event. When the event went to 2,000 metres under the direction of FISA, I became more confident that Eric Horry could be the world champion. He's always been so competitive and has won a number of world championships over 1,000 metres, but he was racing against guys that were twice as big as him, huge humans that they were, and now it's more about endurance and a good VO2, and Eric works very hard, and it's difficult to call a row over, but I'm going to hand over to Owen Nix, who's going to tell us more about Eric.
Well, it's fitting that SIRR the greatest is playing. This is the greatest PR1 sculler in the world. Eric Horry, 4-time champion of the world and 2-time Olympic silver medalist. He's the top performing athlete on the Australian rowing team. And he went through the first 500 in 2:35.06.
And coached by Jason Baker. I haven't seen Jason here. I always have a go at him about his camouflage clothes.
That's why you haven't seen him.
It's obviously working.
Yes, JB, you're often sporting various degrees of camouflage clothing, and has done a great job with Eric. Of course, Eric formerly from Queensland, and started off his rowing at the Dragons Club and now moved down to a Sydney Rowing Club. He trains on the Nepean River, and he was the first athlete named to the Australian rowing team for this year, which is obviously very important for him because that's when he starts to get more funding as a result of the date that he is named into the Australian team. So,
and he's off to the Gavirate Para Rowing Regatta, a fantastic venue at Gavirate, of course, where the the Australian Institute of Sport European Training Centre is, and we have a great relationship with the Gavirate Rowing Club, and it's the best. Other than the World Championships, I think it's the best standalone para-rowing regatta in the world.
Yeah, so Eric will be very much looking forward to that. And, of course, last year he won the World Championships at Sarasota Bradenton, and that was something with his programming that he wanted to make sure that he had a family vacation with the kids to Orlando, to Disney over there in Orlando, and that was a bit of a goal for the family to still have a lot of fun doing what he does, and ensuring that it's not a tough 4-year cycle. It's an enjoyable 4-year cycle to get through the mountain of work that he does with Coach Jason Baker on the Nepean River.
And he also contests World Cup 1 in Belgrade in Serbia.
And so Eric will certainly be looking to lay down some good markers there. He's supported very, very well by the New South Wales Institute of Sport, and they've been working with him to get a new moulded seat to make it more comfortable to get through those miles on those 24-kilometre rows that he will do in training.
That's an ongoing process, that more comfortable seat. That's been going on when I was managing the team, and every year we've tried something to make it more comfortable because of his injuries, and it is one of the key things he has. He gets blisters and one thing and another.
Yeah, so you certainly, if you're on the water for a few hours, you certainly want to be comfortable in getting through the workload that he does. So he's now making his way up towards 1,200 metres covered. He went through the 1,000 in 5:13.05. And part of doing something different this year, Eric went up to the Queensland Championships and helped promote para-rowing up there at Wyaralong, and a good chance for him to check out the exciting new course for rowing Queensland at Wyaralong Dam.
Yeah, he was really a terrific addition to the Queensland Championships, and there was a para race that Mac Russell won, of course, different category to Eric, but his promotion of the regatta and around the regatta was fantastic. He couldn't have done more for me as the commentator than he did. He and Lizzie Chapman and Alan Bennett were there for a couple of days, and they were sensational with all the work they did, and the promotion of para-rowing was great.
Yeah, he's certainly a great ambassador for the sport, and it's always great to see him so successful, as you mentioned, 4-time world champion, 2-time Olympic or Paralympic silver medalist, and just making his way up towards the 1,500 metre mark in the sky blue colours of Sydney Rowing Club. White Philippi shell.
Yes, I see the president of Sydney Rowing Club sitting in the grandstand.
Yeah, they've had a quite successful morning, having a win in the under-21 women's double scull and the, I think it's an under-23 men's Cox 4 that they had a win in. And continuing on here with Eric Horry, set to take out the PR1 men's single scull national championship, something that he has claimed on numerous occasions. And as Ray mentioned, having moved from 1,000 metres to 2,000 metres, he's the second Australian to have won an inaugural 2,000 metre world championship.
And the other one is here at this regatta. I saw her on a bicycle this morning.
Yeah, so
it's a trivia quiz. Who can come up with the answer? Owen and I practiced this last year. So Adair Ferguson is the other one. When women's rowing went from 1,000 metres to 2,000 metres, Adair Ferguson was the first person to win the lightweight women's single scull championship at 2,000 metres. And Adair is here racing at this regatta.
And just had a piece of trivia handed to us from Lynn Charge here. Did you know that para in the Paralympics stands for the Parallel Olympics? So the two-time Paralympic silver medalist Eric Horry now coming up to the red buoy, which signifies 250 metres still to cover. So he's gone through 1750 gone. He went through the 1500 in 7:52.01. And this top credentialed athlete in the Australian setup is going to have one of his last races here before he heads overseas to enhance his international record. Now moves up towards the 1,900 metre mark where the boys turn red. And Eric Horry of Sydney Rowing Club has just another 16 or so strokes to go, and he will cross the line and take out the PR1.
And you said about the family having a holiday in Orlando. He has his daughter's names tattooed on his arms, Summer and Madison.
Yeah, so they're obviously very, very supportive of Eric, and they'll be loving seeing Dad cross the line here, claiming yet another Australian title, PR1 men's single scull for Eric Horry of Sydney Rowing Club.
So we can see on the big screen that the eights are moving in for the Open Lightweight Men's Cox State Championship of Australia. for the Bucks Trophy. I imagine that's the Buckingham Trophy, or is it just called Bucks? If my memory serves me well, the trophy was donated by Steve Kerrin, who won this race for Buckingham Rowing Club about 45 kilograms ago. In lane 2, Toowong, Canberra, University of Queensland Composite. Lane 3, Team Indonesia. Lane 4, UTS Sydney University Composite, which includes Rod Chisholm, Olympian Rod Chisholm, rowing for UTS, who is the wrong side of 40, I believe, to be out here, but he is a very fit man, is Roderick Chisholm. Lane 5, North Esk, New Norfolk, Tamar, Buckingham, ANU, Tasmania University. Could we have got 8 or 9 there, but we've got a good few. Lane 6, Mercantile, Adelaide University, Adelaide Banks. And lane 5, Swan River, Fremantle, University of Western Australia Composite. So terrific vision coming from the start line. And for those of you new to rowing, the lightweight 8 traditionally has so many different singlets in each boat. Lightweight rowing under threat internationally, I believe. And the lightweight 8 still attracts a good field. And we've got 6 crews here and lots of composite crews, but Team Indonesia in lane 3 is a straight club crew. The rest are all some sort of composite with between 2 and 3 and 6 and 7 different clubs represented in each of the individual boats, all bar Team Indonesia, as I said. We're yet to see Team Indonesia in the blocks. Not sure if something's gone wrong there, or they're not aware that the time was different to what it was a few days ago. Opportunity to remind people, athletes, to weigh your boats. Make sure your boats are on weight or above. Earlier in the week when the conditions were quite hot, boats dry out. Also, a further request to make sure that pedestrians don't walk on the top road, because on Saturday and Sunday we'll have a van flying along there all day, bringing you footage from the side of the races. So please just get yourself in tune with not walking along the top road here on the spectator side, as there will be a van going up and down all day on both Saturday and Sunday. And there's the Indonesians going in line. So, as I said, in lane 2, Toowong, Canberra, University of Queensland. Lane 3, Team Indonesia. Lane 4, UTS Sydney University. Lane 5, North Esk, New Norfolk, Tamar, Buckingham, ANU, Tasmania University. 6 clubs represented there. Lane 6, Mercantile, Adelaide University, Adelaide Banks. And lane 7, Swan River, Fremantle, University of Western Australia.
Team Indonesia, UTS Sydney Uni, North Esk Composite, Mercantile Composite, Swan Composite, attention.
And with the late arrival of the Indonesian crew, another reminder that crews need to be at the bridge no less than 15 minutes prior to the start time of their event.
And Team Indonesia were late in arriving there, but they were pretty quick in getting out of the blocks. But certainly crews to watch in this one. Mercantile, Adelaide University, Adelaide and Banks in the blue boat on screen at the moment. They're at 44 strokes a minute as they leave the 100-metre zone, or the Zach Purchase zone, and they're starting to work their way into their
Can't
rhythm.
call it the Zach Purchase zone. For those of you who don't know, the rules were changed in international rowing after a alleged seat breakage at the 2012 Olympic Games. The seat of Zach Purchase from the Great Britain lightweight double scull at the 99.9 metre part of the start area.
Yeah, so it was changed as a result of that. And on screen now you can see the UTS crew, and it's largely the crew, it's the UTS Sydney University crew, largely the UTS crew that contested the head of the Yarra. They had a couple of heavyweights in there, Henry Lees and one other, but they rated the head of the Yarra at 38 strokes a minute, and they knocked off their heavyweight crew that included Masters, Risby and Hamish Playfair. So they come in with quite a fair bit of background, and they lead as they come through the 500-metre mark from the Toowong, Canberra, University of Queensland crew on the far side of the course, and then the Quality Mercantile Composite crew second from this side of the course, and then it is back to Team Indonesia, Swan River and North Esk at the tail of the field. So the UTS Composite crew, Jack Message, is a youngster that's moved across there from Scots College. Michael McRae, having moved across from Leichhardt Rowing Club and having a great season, selected as a reserve for the New South Wales Wilkinson Cup crew. Peter Waldersey, his older brother James Waldersey, James Shooter, who was their strokeman overseas at Henley when they made it to the semi-finals day on the Saturday this year. And Rod Chisholm, the Rod father, of course, a world champion in this class of boat from 2011. And the 43-year-old veteran there, trimming down to the average weight of 70 kilograms for these lightweights and maximum 72.5. Also in that boat is the very talented Leon Chambers and Matt Curtin, Anna O'Hanlon coxing, of course, the daughter of Terry O'Hanlon, who's a very well-known coxswain. And they're coached by Tim McLaren, Alex Field and Dave Geely. And they're having a very, very good tussle with Team Indonesia. Adi Asadi, Iram, Ferdi Ansiar and Rio Risky Darmoan, Jeffrey Ardianto Sawano, Ali Buton, Muhad Yakin and Tanzil Haddad. Ujang Hasbalar is the coxswain of Team Indonesia, and they lead going through the halfway mark from the UTS Sydney University. Over on the far side, Toowong have the four-time Penrith Cup winner for Queensland, Jack Price there, and Hamish Parry also having won that event in 2016. Tom Perry is the Canberra representative in that boat, and he's a very, very good sculler over on the far side of the course and turning his hand into sweep rowing. And then we have the Mercantile Composite crew. So those four the leading lights here in this open lightweight men's cox state. There were just the three crews in the lightweight pair, 6 crews in the lightweight 8. It's great to see Swan River Composite with Fremantle and the University of Western Australia. They're on this side of the course and back in 5th position. And the crew from North Esk, New Norfolk, Tamar, Buckingham, ANU and Tasmania University are back in 6th spot and have a fair bit of work to do if they're going to change that. But Team Indonesia looking very, very good here. They've had a strong third 500 metres and they're trying to get out and trying to rid themselves of an overlap with the UTS Composite crew and also the crew in the blue boat from Mercantile, Adelaide University, Adelaide and Banks. Coming up towards the 1500 metre mark, and it's a very, very handy lead for Team Indonesia, sitting at about half a boat length over the UTS Sydney University boat, and the blue shell of the Mercantile Composite crew looming large, and a good third 500 metres from the Swan River Composite crew has put them hot on the heels of the Toowong composite over on the far side of the course. So certainly plenty to race for these top 5 crews, and North Esk composite destined to finish in 6th position. And we'll see what these lightweight 8s can get up to in this last 400 or so metres. Team Indonesia still just there on 34 strokes a minute. The UTS Sydney University crew 3 points higher, and in the blue boat, the Mercantile Composite crew, they've moved up to 39 strokes a minute, so they're going to get a few more strokes in by the time they hit the finish line. The crew in the blue shell, it's just how long and how powerful they are is the big question.
Biggest peloton of the day, so plenty of interest in this race from the coaching staff. Have a look at the size of that peloton, Owen.
Yes, it's certainly great to see them watching these 54 athletes out there coming down the course, and Team Indonesia just getting a whole heap of run with each stroke, and they're moving beautifully into this last 100 metres. And the Mercantile Composite crew, you can see the Unley High colours in the bow seat of that of Mitchell Reinhardt, who's had a very good regatta so far. They've moved up into 2nd spot ahead of the UTS Sydney University Composite crew. But Team Indonesia, quality win in the Open Lightweight Men's Cox State of Australia. 2nd goes to Mercantile Composite with Adelaide Uni, Adelaide Banks and Unley High. 3rd to UTS and Sydney University. 4th goes to the Swan River Composite with Fremantle and UWA ahead of the Toowong Canberra University of Queensland Composite in 5th. And 6th will be the composite crew, largely from Tasmania, with North Esk, New Norfolk, Tamar Buckingham, Tasmania University represented along with the Australian National University.
So unofficially, 1st Team Indonesia, 2nd Mercantile Composite, 3rd UTS Composite, 4th Swan River Composite, 5th Toowong Composite, 6th North Esk Composite, winning time 5:59.62. The medal presentation, or the presentation of medals for the PR1 Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Gordon Marks, Rowing Australia Para Rowing Lead. Gold medalist and Australian champion for 2018, representing Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport, is Eric Horry. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2018 Australian champion.
You want a photo?
And we're underway in the PR3 Mixed Double Sculls Championship of Australia. Current title holders Nepean Balmain Composite. In Lane 2, Team Hong Kong. Lane 3, University of Queensland Presbyterian Ladies College Composite. Lane 4, Bundaberg Nestles Composite. Lane 5, Tasmania University. Lane 6, Capital Lakes Composite. Lane 7, Nepean Sydney Composite. And Lane 8, ANU, Ian Cooper and Sue Donoghue.
And it is Nepean Sydney leading through the first 500 metres. That is Kate Murdoch and Ben Gibson, and they lead from Capital Lakes Balmain. Nikki Ayres of Capital Lakes, James Talbot of Balmain and Tasmania University are 3rd. Very experienced combination of Alistair Chong and Sarah Vaitzer. And Bundaberg Nestles are next in 4th, followed by Cooper and Donoghue of Australian National University, Webber and Russell of the University of Queensland and PLC Sydney, and Team Hong Kong in 7th position. So the combination of Kate Murdoch and Ben Gibson, coached by Lindsay Callaghan and Jason Baker, leading. They've been doing a fair bit of work in the double. They take the opportunity to get a paddle in the double at the New South Wales Institute of Sport time trials on the Nepean River whenever they can. For the second row there, and always improving as a combination, and have been working on their boat run. And Ben Gibson in the bow seat, Kate Murdoch in the stroke seat. And they are continuing to push clear. They had 6 seconds advantage at the first 500, and they've started to grow that over the Capital Lakes Balmain crew in second spot, and Tasmanian University. You can see the top 3 crews there. In fact, top 4 crews all covered by that shot, with Tasmanian University in third, and in fourth, Bundaberg, Nestles, Skinner and Markwell. As they move up towards the 1,000-metre mark. Ben Gibson and Kate Murdoch heading through, and they have a very sizable advantage here in the PR3 mixed double scull. Capital Lakes Balmain through in second spot, and then they're followed by crew from Tasmania University, and then it is Bundaberg Nestles, Aaron Skinner and Rebecca Markwell. And we've got the Uni of Queensland PLC combination there in 6th behind ANU. We saw Sue Donoghue claim a medal earlier on this week in the PR3 women's single scull. She's there in 5th place with Ian Cooper of ANU. In 6th place, Lauren Webber of PLC Sydney is having her first race over 2,000 metres, and she's there with Mac Russell, who won the men's PR3 event and goes into Sunday's racing as favourite for the interstate PR3 single scull.
It's a handsome lead here, Owen, for Ben Gibson and Kathleen Murdoch.
Yeah, they 6 seconds at the first 500, over 12 at the 1,000-metre mark, and they're currently covered 1,400 metres. And it's the Sky Blue of Sydney Rowing Club and the 2 Blues of Nepean that are there in the blue boat that is making their way up towards the 1,500-metre mark. Kate Murdoch, a World Championship medalist in this class, a boat at the from the Netherlands a few years ago, 2014, and continuing to extend her advantage over Capital Lakes Balmain, Nikki Ayres of Capital Lakes, James Talbot of Balmain in second spot. Tasmania University holding on there in third, and it's been a good third 500 metres from the University of Queensland PLC Sydney combination, and that is Lauren Webber of PLC Sydney and Mac Russell. They've just started to move up on the Bundaberg Nestles crew of Skinner and Markwell and move up into fourth spot and trying to challenge Tasmania University in the latter stages of this one. Mac Russell, mentioned, won the PR3 men's single scull earlier on. They're only 5.28 seconds behind Tasmania University, and they've moved up from 6th into 4th. ANU are still in 5th, and Bundaberg Nestles in 6th, and Team Hong Kong with Chi Choi, Daniel Yao and Man Chan Ka are there in 7th position over on the far side of the course. The 30 strokes a minute coming into the last 150 metres. Ben Gibson of Sydney Rowing Club, Kate Murdoch of Nepean have continued to grab another couple of boat lengths each 500 metres as they move down the course. And will claim a dominant win in the PR3 mixed double scull. Kate defending the title that she won last year, and it will be her second title of the championship. And she goes in as favourite for Sunday's interstate race in the PR3 Women's Interstate Single Scull. So win to Sydney Nepean. In second spot we have Nikki Ayres of Capital Lakes and James Talbot of Balmain. And it's been a very, very spirited second half of the race from Mac Russell and Lauren Webber over on the far side of the course. They're just starting to draw up to an overlap with Tasmania University, who have been third the entire way, but they may just run out of water. Tasmania University with Alastair Chong in the bow seat and Sarah Vaitzer in the stroke seat. Hold on for the bronze medal. Fourth goes to Mac Russell and Lauren Webber of University of Queensland and PLC Sydney. And they'll be followed by Ian Cooper and Sue Donoghue of ANU in fifth. And then Bundaberg, Nestles, Skinner and Markwell sixth. And Team Hong Kong, Chi Choi, Daniel Yao and Man Chan Kar plays seventh.
So unofficially, first Nepean composite, second Capital Lakes composite, third Tasmania University, fourth University of Queensland composite, fifth ANU, sixth Bundaberg composite, and when they get to the line, seventh Team Hong Kong. The winning time there, 7:44.94, 7:44.94. Presentation of medals for the Open Lightweight Men's Cox Day Championship of Australia. Medals will be presented by Mr. Jim Gibson, President of Rowing Tasmania, and as well as the medals, Jim will also present the Buckingham Cup, or the Buckingham Trophy, I should say. Third place and bronze medalist representing University of Technology Sydney, Sydney University, NSWIS. Bow Jack Message of UTS. 2 Michael McRae UTS, 3 Peter Waldesy UTS, 4 James Waldesy UTS, 5 is James Shooter of UTS, 6 is Roderick Chisholm of UTS, 7 Leon Chambers, Sydney University Boat Club, and the stroke is Matthew Curtin of UTS, and the coxswain is Anna O'Hanlon. In second place and winners of the silver medal, Mercantile, Adelaide University, Adelaide, Banks and the National Training Centre. Bowers Hugo Berry of Banks, Carl Tomzak of Mercantile, Oscar McGuinness of Adelaide, Jack Kelly of Adelaide, Michael McNamara of Mercantile, Mitchell Reinhardt of Adelaide Uni, Jaden Gray of Mercantile, William Legg of Mercantile, and James Rook is the coxswain. gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Team Indonesia. Adi Isadi, Iram, Ferdinand, Rio Rizky Damawan, Jeffrey Ardianto Suano, Ali Bouton, Muhad Yakin, and Tanzil Hadid. And the coxswain is Ujang Hasbullah. And Mr. Gibson will now present the Buckingham Trophy to Team Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our medalists. On the course now, Heat 1 of the Club Women's Double Scull. Lane 1, University of Queensland. Lane 2, Brisbane and GPS. Lane 3, Adelaide. Lane 4, Banks. Lane 5, Essendon. Lane 6, Pine Rivers. Lane 7, Barwon. And Lane 8, University of Technology, Sydney.
It is a crew from Banks that are doing quite well. Alex Conway and Thea Adamson. And Thea Adamson, I think, started off her rowing at Methodist Ladies College in Melbourne. This combination coached by Cade Greenland and Nicholas Mitchell. And they went through the 1,000 in 3:48.21. And they went through ahead of the experienced Pine Rivers crew in lane number 6, 2 lanes across. Pine Rivers represented by Catherine Lambros and M. Schmeider. And they're coached by Ray Smith, Pine Rivers from Lake Kawangbar. And in third spot is Essendon Kate Hutchison and Sarah Sekfi, coached by Don McNeil. First 2 go through to the final, the rest go through to the repechage. And in fourth spot is Adelaide Guinness of UTS, and also from UTS, Hallie Chapman, the World Junior Single Sculling Champion from a number of years ago. And it's great to see Hallie back in a boat and racing, and she does a great job coaching at St Catherine's and at UTS, and a race here with Adelaide Guinness, coached by Dave Geely, Alex Field and Tim McLaren.
I had a conversation with Hallie's old coach over the lunch break, actually, Greg Howell. I didn't know Hallie was racing, so he'll be excited to see that she's well again and racing out here. That's terrific.
Yeah, definitely. And they're in fourth spot on this side of the course in the black, white and teal colours. And then it is over towards the far side of the course for the next place crew. And that is crew from Adelaide Rowing Club, Luscombe and Blazek. And Laura Blazek, formerly Brisbane GPS, and now and Adelaide there in fifth position, and they're then followed by the crew right on this side of the course, that is, or towards this side of the course, Barwon, Mariana Madar and Maxine Rice, coached by Rob Kemp. And then over to Brisbane and GPS, Jordan Turner and Amelia Champion, and Camille Shabuan and Clara Jansen of the University of Queensland on the far side of the course. Back in eighth position, but the head of the field, it is the crew from Pine Rivers that have hit the lead. Catherine Lambros and M. Schmieder. So, Catherine Lambros, the daughter of Bill Hatfield, the legendary, in more recent years, a Bundaberg sculler.
Yeah, currently sailing around the world solo at about 80 years of age, I believe, for about the third time.
Yeah, certainly an exuberant character, and the Pine Rivers crew in the green colours doing quite well, leading coming into the last 50 metres. Banks were the early race leaders. Top 2 going through to the final directly. The rest will have to qualify via the repechage, and it will be Pine Rivers and Banks to claim the 2 spots from this first heat of the club women's double scull. A length of margin at the finish. 3rd goes to Essendon. 4th will be the crew of Hallie Chapman in the bow seat and Adelaide Guinness in the stroke seat. And then it'll be followed by Adelaide in 5th position, Barwon in 6th, Brisbane and GPS in 7th, and in 8th place, the University of Queensland.
Unofficial there. 1st Pine Rivers, 2nd Banks, 3rd Essendon, 4th UTS, 5th Adelaide, 6th Barwon, 7th Brisbane and GPS, 8th University of Queensland. Winning time 7:45.45, margin 1.9 seconds. Heat 2 underway. Lane 1 Sydney University, scratch lane 2. Lane 3 Sydney University, lane 4 Brisbane and GPS, lane 5 Brisbane and GPS, lane 6 Banks, lane 7 Toowong, and lane 8 is Fremantle.
So Toowong leading through the halfway mark. That's Sarah Byrne and Kenzie Wareham, coached by Leonidas Karademetris and Kieran Dwyer. They lead from Sydney University, Emma Jalalati. And it was Emma Jalalati rowing with Olivia Dent, but now it looks like Clara Chambers. So there's been a couple of substitutions in those Sydney University boats. So they have swapped Olivia Dent into the crew on the far side of the course and Clara Chambers into the crew in lane number 3. So both crews coached by Jack Hanley, who is a 2-time Penrith Cup bronze medalist and the only lightweight ever to win the Australian boat race for Sydney University men's. He's won that twice now, and right up there in the bow seat or 2 seat of that boat. And Jack Hanley is the development coach at Sydney University Boat Club, where he's done a lot of his rowing since having moved down from Newcastle University. And they're in 2nd spot. Fremantle right on this side of the course. Council and Ashby Deering having a good race in 3rd place, and they're then followed by the crew from Brisbane and GPS, Sierra Stafford and Gracie Wasson, and the other crew from Brisbane and GPS of Morrison, Mackay, then Montague and Price at Banks, next in 6th, and in 7th, Fang Ki Kui and Olivia Dent of Sydney University over on the far side of the course. So Sydney University having moved into the lead through that 1,500 metre mark from Fremantle, who have pushed up into 2nd spot, and in 3rd, the Toowong that were leading at the halfway mark. So they've been pushed back into 3rd. Just the top 2 going directly through to the final, and there will be a repechage tomorrow for the crews that don't finish in the top 2 as their other chance of qualifying for the final. The situation here, 3 into 2.
Won't go.
That's right, and Sydney University, Fremantle and Toowong are the 3 that are duelling it out here with around about 300 metres to cover.
Under pressure from these 2 on this side, aren't
they? Yeah, that's right, and they're having a great little battle, which is pushing them right up on the crew from Sydney University Boat Club. Fremantle have around about 1/3 of a length advantage over the crew from Toowong. It might even be half a length, in fact, as they come into the last 200 metres. And over on the far side, towards the far side, the Sydney University crew, Emma Jalalati and Clara Chambers, have a bit of an advantage over Toowong. So Toowong are the crew looking like they're the ones that potentially may have to try and qualify from the repechage, but if it does go that way, they'll take plenty of confidence into that repechage as they start to hit the red boys, and it's Fremantle and Sydney University Boat Club that are clear, and Toowong have just a little bit too much to do in this last little stretch of the club's women's double scull, heat number 2. On the far side of the course, Sydney University with just a slender advantage over Fremantle. And it will be Sydney University Boat Club that take out Heat 2 of the Club Women's Double Scull. And joining them directly in the final, Fremantle, a repechage for the third place Toowong crew. Fourth will be Brisbane and GPS, Stafford and Wasson. Morris and Mackay, Brisbane and GPS will be fifth, Banks sixth, and Sydney University's Key and Dent seventh.
Unofficially, first Sydney University, second Fremantle, third Toowong, fourth Brisbane and GPS, fifth Brisbane and GPS, sixth Banks and seventh Sydney University. The presentation of medals for the PR3 Mixed Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Gordon Marks, Rowing Australia, Para Rowing Lead. In third place and winners of the bronze medal, Tasmania University, represented by Alistair Chong and Sarah Vaitza. In second place, winners of the silver medal, representing Capital Lakes and Balmain, James Talbot of Balmain and Nikki Ayres of Capital Lakes Rowing Club. Gold medalist and Australian champion for 2018, representing Nepean and Sydney Rowing Clubs and New South Wales Institute of Sport, Ben Gibson of Sydney Rowing Club and Kate Murdoch of Nepean. Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge our medalists. Club men's double coming to the end of the race, 1500. Goldstein and Stevenson of Melbourne University leading from Sydney, Nepean, Toowong, Sydney N Swiss and Toowong.
So Melbourne University, Andy Goldstein and Nicholas Stevenson, that are leading, coached by Franz Imfield, who's in his first year at Melbourne University, having come across from Molesey Boat Club in the UK, the Swiss coach Franz. And his crew are going to go straight through to the final. Top two to progress through to the final. The rest go through to the repechage. In second spot is Nepean, Jason Waddell and Angus Harold. Jason Waddell, vastly experienced in the bow seat of that boat. They're coached by Jason's younger brother, Daniel Waddell. Jason, a 2009 Youth Cup representative who are in New South Wales. Angus Harold, one of the juniors at Nepean Rowing Club, where there are plenty there, and they're the two crews that qualified directly. Toowong were third with Matthew Pettigrew and Lorne Thomas, followed by Sydney Rowing Club, Brighton and Graham, and then Stevenson and Olsen of Sydney were next in fifth position, and sixth will be the other Toowong combination of Pearson and Martin.
Unofficially, first Melbourne Uni, second Nepean, third Toowong, fourth Sydney, fifth Sydney Enswith, sixth Toowong, winning time 7:07.92. 7:07.92. And Heat 2 is underway. Lane 2, Melbourne University, Winkler and Smith. Lane 3, Fremantle. Lane 4, University of Western Australia. Lane 5, St George. Lane 6, Toowong. And Lane 7 is Banks Rowing Club.
So it is Melbourne University over on the far side of the course. Tim Winkler and Isaac Smith. Isaac Smith, formerly of Newcastle Rowing Club, and now down at Melbourne University. And with Tim Winkler over on the far side of the course. And they're leading from St George, Oliver Gorman and James Hunt. And then the Banks crew right along this side of the course are going quite well. The prominent pink colours on this side. And Fremantle in fourth position. Marshall and Holiday just 0.69 back, and then a bit of a gap to Toowong, 3.47 seconds back in fifth, and then a further 1.06 to the University of Western Australia, Caleb Jaschke and George White. Yeah, so very close here as they head up towards the 1,500 metre mark. And just the top two to go through directly to the final. The others will get a chance to qualify for the final via the repechage. But over on the far side, Tim Winkler and Isaac Smith still maintaining their advantage. And it is from the crew from Banks on this side of the course, James Mead and Angus Thornton. And next is the crew from Fremantle, Digby Marshall and Peter Holiday. And then very close to St George in fourth, University of Western Australia in fifth, and Toowong back in sixth position. But certainly if any of those crews have a huge finish, they can certainly get direct qualification in this one. It's certainly some good close racing here in this club men's double sculls second heat. Melbourne University over on the far side of the course. They took out the previous heat and they're doing their best to ensure that their two crews in this event are direct qualifiers for the final. So as Goldstein and Stevenson took out the previous one. Winkler and Smith that are leading this one, and Banks are certainly wanting to ensure that they're not involved in any sort of a scrap with Fremantle as flying down the course here at 36 strokes a minute on this side of the course. Fremantle in third. St George are in fourth, and they're followed by Toowong, which has just started to make a bit of a move on the University of Western Australia and push up into fifth position. But over on the far side of the course, Melbourne University Boat Club will take out the second heat, so they take out both heats of the club men's double scull. Second in heat 2 goes to Banks. They're the two direct qualifiers. Fremantle cruise home now. In third spot, St George fourth, Toowong fifth, and the University of Western Australia Boat Club are sixth.
Unofficially, first Melbourne University, second Banks, third Fremantle, fourth St George, fifth Toowong, sixth University of WA, the winning time 7:06.41. Next we have the Schoolgirls single scull, a repechage number 1. Underway, PLC Perth, Pippa Joyce, Sydney Girls, Kiralee Schofield, Henley High, Kayla Byrne, Maribyrnong, Louisa Bongrain, St Mary McKillop from the ACT, Maddie Bennett, and St Mary's Tasmania, Summer Carpenter. So Maddie Bennett was our leader after 500 metres, 2:02.7. She's 1.95 in front of Kiralee Schofield. Then followed Summer Carpenter, Louisa Bongrain, Pippa Joyce and Kayla Byrne. First 3 to go through to the quarterfinals, which are races 414, 13, 12, 11. And fourth and fifth to the semi-finals, which are races, they must be semi-finals C and D, I would suggest.
And one of the biggest fields over the entire Nationals program, the Schoolgirls single scull. From memory, there were 8 heats yesterday, 8 repechages today. You know, more semi-finals than you can throw a stick at, which is technically speaking, therefore, not a semi-final, but we won't be too picky at this stage of proceedings. We're just through halfway in repechage 1 of the Schoolgirls singles scull. Maddie Bennett still our race leader, the St Mary McKillop sculler from the Australian Capital Territory. Louisa Bongrain from for Maribyrnong, she's racing, of course, also races in the colours of the Footscray City Rowing Club, a number of Victorian regattas. So Maddie Bennett and Louisa Bongrain, 1 and 2. Top 3 will move through to the quarterfinals and remain in contention for the A final. The remaining place getters to a series of what effectively will be semi-finals to decide the C, D and E finalists. So still will progress in this event with a full list of exhaustive finals to get through on Sunday, but only the top 3 will stay alive as far as racing for the medals is concerned in the A final of the Schoolgirls single scull. So Maddie Bennett, I should say, from St Mary McKillop in the ACT is her school on lane 6. And Maribyrnong's Louisa Bongrain alongside her. Those 2 have comfortably cleared out on the remainder of the field. Third place, therefore, is all important with the top 2 a long way out in front. The Sydney Girls sculler, Kiralee Schofield in lane 3, and also lane 7, Summer Carpenter from St Mary's, Tasmania, would be the 2 locked in the battle for third spot ahead of the remaining 2 scullers in the race. Pippa Joyce from PLC Perth and Kayla Byrne from Henley High in South Australia. And a change in the lead at the 1,500 metre mark. Louisa Bongrain, the Maribyrnong sculler, has gone clear by over a boat length now from Maddie Bennett. The St Mary McKillop sculler there in second place, but both still very comfortably placed to qualify for the quarterfinals of this race. 12 seconds then back to Kiralee Schofield from Sydney Girls, who has increased her hold on third place, and with it a ticket to the quarterfinals. Ahead then of Summer Carpenter from St Mary's, Pippa Joyce of PLC Perth, and also Kayla Byrne from Henley High. About 300 metres to go for our race leader, Louisa Bongrain, who's coached by Lachlan Beckett and Tony Lawless at Maribyrnong, and Maddie Bennett from St Mary McKillop, coached by Renee Domichens and Nick Garrett. And the third place sculler still very comfortable. Kiralee Schofield from Sydney Girls, coached by Bryony Giroffi and James Giroffi. She's got a couple of links still on Summer Carpenter from St Mary's in fourth place. About 130 metres to go now in this first of 8 repechages in the Schoolgirls single scull. First 3 only through to the quarterfinals and remaining in contention for the A final and the medals on Sunday morning. The rest will go through a series of minor semi-finals and on to the C, D, E, F, etc. finals that will take place also on Sunday morning. But as far as going through to the quarterfinals is concerned, Louisa Bongrain from Maribyrnong College is now comfortably clear of Maddie Bennett from St Mary MacKillop in the ACT. She's got still 3 or 4 strokes to go, and certainly not having to extend herself in the closing strokes at all is Louisa Bongrain from Maribyrnong across the line now to take the win in the first repechage of the Schoolgirls single scull. A very comfortable win indeed by about 2.5 lengths from Maddie Bennett of St Mary MacKillop, who's very safe in second place, and then over towards the far side, Kiralee Schofield from Sydney Girls will finish third and also move through to the quarterfinals.
So unofficially, first Maribyrnong, second St Mary MacKillop, third Sydney Girls, fourth St Mary's Tasmania, fifth PLC Perth, and sixth Henley High. Winning time unofficially 8 minutes 42.05. Repechage number 2 is on the course. Lane 2, Stuart Home, Claire Taylor. Lane 3, Somerville, Alexandra Rooney. Lane 4, Brisbane Girls Grammar School, Amy Bolton. Lane 5, Maribyrnong, Charlotte Morris. Lane 6, Cardinia International College, Olivia Teasdale. And Lane 7, Buckley Park College, Catherine Wilkinson, which must be in the Essendon area because Barry Gardner is coaching that sculler.
And the second repechage of the Schoolgirls single scull, as it's worked out the first 3 lanes on the far side, all from Queensland. The next 3 lanes, 3 Victorian schools represented. Something of a state of origin battle here between these 6 scullers, and Charlotte Morris from the Maribyrnong College. Again, the same school as Louisa Bongrain, the winner of our previous race, is leading repechage 2 in lane 5 there. Charlotte Morris from Catherine Wilkinson, second place for Buckley Park College, and Amy Bolton currently third for Brisbane Girls Grammar School.
The terrific conditions today, Richard. Hardly a breath of breeze, just a slight shimmer there on the water, but certainly better than yesterday and the day before. And athletes are enjoying it, obviously.
Yeah, certainly great conditions for these schoolgirls to be racing on. The 3 Victorian scullers on this side of the course experienced the opposite on Sunday at the final day of the head of the Schoolgirls, where the racing was blown off the Barwon River course. Only 5 races completed, unfortunately, on the final day of racing there in Geelong. There's been a lot of these girls racing today, weren't able to complete that part of their season. Of course, it's a big regatta, the head of the Schoolgirls, which represents the culmination for a lot of these rowers. But at least for the girls who are here, they're able to race again at the Australian Schools Championships as well. And Maribyrnong's Charlotte Morris doing by far the best of those. She would lead this race now up towards the 1,500 metre mark, along with Catherine Wilkinson from Buckley Park College and Amy Bolton, Brisbane Girls Grammar School, I think still there in about 2nd or 3rd place. But certainly Charlotte Morris is our race leader, and very comfortably so. She's gone out to over 5 seconds from it is still the Buckley Park sculler. Catherine Wilkinson in 2nd place, just over 5 seconds back, and a further second to Amy Bolton of Brisbane Girls Grammar School. So the top 3 remaining as they've been most of the way through this race. Alexandra Rooney still there in 4th place for Somerville House. She's coached by Bill Hind and Richard Powell, the Somerville House sculler. And then further back, Stuart Holmes, Claire Taylor, coached by Peter Toon, and Cardinia International College's sculler in lane 6, Olivia Teasdale, coached by Anita Whitehouse and Wayne Nitschke. But Charlotte Morris continues to be our very comfortable race leader. looking to make it 2 wins from the first 2 repechages for the Maribyrnong College in the western suburbs of Melbourne. She's got a couple of lengths still, it would be, over the sculler from Buckley Park College, Catherine Wilkinson, and Brisbane Girls Grammar School's Amy Bolton, possibly moving up the challenge for second spot. And the Somerville House sculler is not giving up the chase here towards the end of this race. She is needs to get into the top 3 if she's to move through to the quarterfinals, and has about a length or so to make up on the sculler alongside her from Brisbane Girls Grammar School. And having a great go at that is Alexandra Rooney here in the closing strokes of this race. So it may get interesting for 3rd and 4th place, but certainly Charlotte Morris, our race leader from Maribyrnong, comfortably clear. And then really 3 scullers across the course now, fighting out for 2 remaining spots in the quarterfinal. Catherine Wilkinson from Buckley Park College, Amy Bolton, Brisbane Girls Grammar School, and Alexandra Rooney in the green boat from Somerville House still has the job in front of her, but she is moving up with a fair bit of boat speed in the closing strokes now. So lane 5, Maribyrnong, Charlotte Morris still very comfortably clear. The Brisbane Girls Grammar School sculler might be moving up into 2nd place here, just ahead of Buckley Park and Somerville House, but the race win goes to Maribyrnong. Charlotte Morris first, 2nd, 3rd and 4th within a length. It'll be lane 4, and then anyone's guess for 3rd. Lane 4, Brisbane Girls Grammar School got home, and a photo for 3rd place.
What? And a place into the quarterfinals. So all important, Richard, that photo between Somerville's Alexandra Rooney and Buckley Park's Catherine Wilkinson. We can't give you the official or even the unofficial result. 8:46.82 is the unofficial time. Charlotte Morris first, Amy Bolton second, Claire Taylor is in 5th place, and 6th will be Olivia Teasdale of Cardinia International College. But we are waiting for a photo between Catherine Wilkinson of Buckley Park College and Alexandra Rooney of Somerville House for the all-important 3rd place and a place into the quarterfinals. Repechage 3 underway. Ave Maria College, Alessia Masiro, again coached by Barry Gardner, in lane 3. Sacred Heart College, Geelong, Chelsea Howell. Brentwood College, Alula Beth Collins. Stuart Home, Isabel Townsend. And Hunter Valley Grammar, Kayla Redhead. And it is Alula Beth Collins who leads in 4 minutes 12.49. So a result up now, Catherine Wilkinson of Buckley Park 3rd, Somerville's Alexandra Rooney 4th in race 337.
So on to repechage 3 of the Schoolgirls single scull. 5 scullers all through the 1,000-metre mark now. 3 to move through to the quarterfinals, and 2 will remain in the hunt only for the lower ranked finals. Alula Beth Collins is our race leader from Brentwood College, where she's coached by Nigel Harding. She's got just over 3 seconds on the Sacred Heart Geelong sculler, Chelsea Howell in 2nd place, and then Kayla Redhead from Hunter Valley Grammar would be 3rd. Over in lane 7, Alessia Masiera from Ave Maria College in 4th place, and Stuart Holmes' Isabel Townsend would be sitting in 5th place. Over the 3rd 500 metres now, and Chelsea Howell from Sacred Heart Geelong has moved past our early leader from Alula Beth Collins by just under 3/4 of a second. So Howell first for Sacred Heart, Collins second for Brentwood College, which we understand to be in the Australian Capital Territory, and 3rd place over on the far side, Ava Maria College, another of the Melbourne schools represented here today. Alessia Masiero there in 3rd place, almost 11 seconds away from the top 2, but importantly for her, holding down 3rd spot now, just ahead of Kayla Redhead, the Hunter Valley Grammar sculler on this side of the course. And about 5 seconds further back behind her is Isabel Townsend the sculler from Stewart Home in Brisbane. So the top two again looking pretty comfortable. The interest in the race for third place, and to complicate matters slightly, it'll come from opposite sides of the course, it looks like. Hunter Valley Grammar's Kayla Redhead in 7, and Alessia Mazziero from Ava Maria College over in lane 3. Currently the two to fight out for the last spot available in the quarterfinals, it would seem, with the Sacred Heart Geelong sculler Chelsea Howell having got her boat in front just before the 1,500 metre mark, continuing to power away now, it would seem, from Brentwood College's Alula Beth Collins, who's coached by Nigel Harding. She sits in second place now, a bit over a boat length back, but very, very comfortable, well clear of the race for third, fourth and fifth behind her. Still Kayla Redhead from Hunter Valley Grammar on this side, and Alessia Massiero from Ava Maria College over on the far side, the two contending for that third spot, and with that a position through to the quarterfinals. Then the Stewart Home sculler Isabel Townsend would be back in 5th place. It's possibly the Hunter Valley Grammar sculler on this side, just slightly better placed with a few strokes to go. We'll line them up better as they approach the finish shortly, but almost about to cross the line now is our lane 4 sculler. Sacred Heart Geelong, Chelsea Howell comfortably in front. She wins repechage 3 of the Schoolgirls single scull, and wins it by about 2.5 lengths from lane 5, Lulabeth Collins from Brentwood College. And third will indeed go to the Hunter Valley Grammar sculler, recovering from just dropping back into 4th briefly with 500 to go. But she gets back into 3rd and moves through to the quarterfinals. So Kayla Redhead in 3rd place. Alessia Massiero will finish 4th, and 5th will go to the Stewart Home sculler.
Unofficial: 1st Sacred Heart, 2nd Brentwood, 3rd Hunter Valley Grammar, 4th Ave Maria College, and 5th is Stewart Home. Winning time 8 minutes 40.53. 8:40.53. Repechage 4 underway. Lane 2, Mount Gravatt State High School, Charlotte Morris. Lane 3, Don College, Abby Boucher. Lane 4, Barker College, Eve Timms. Lane 5, St Peter's Lutheran College, Jessica Corganau. And lane 6, Galen Catholic College, Paige Cooper. Eve Timms from Barker College in Sydney, coached by Robin Mackney, is our leader at 1,000 metres over Galen Catholic College. Then follows the Don College, St Peter's Lutheran and Mount Gravatt State High.
About 2/3 of the way through now, this 4th repechage of the Schoolgirls single scull. It was Barker College's Eve Timms by right on a 2nd from Paige Cooper of Galen Catholic College at the halfway mark. Those two 1 lane apart, lanes 4 and 6 at the Don College sculler from Tasmania, Abby Boucher there in the all-important 3rd spot ahead of Jessica Corganau from St Peter's and Charlotte Morris from Mount Gravatt State High School. Those two schools, St Peter's and Mount Gravatt State High, both in Brisbane. But our race leader continues to be the Barker College sculler from here in Sydney. Eve Timms holds on to the lead here. And 2nd place now is the Don College sculler, Abby Boucher, who's moved up just into 2nd, ahead of the Galen Catholic College, the school from Victoria there. Paige Cooper in 3rd place. She's racing down the grandstand side of the course and currently only about half a second away from 2nd spot, in fact, and well clear, 13 seconds clear of Jessica Corganau from St Peter's, and a further almost 11 seconds back to Charlotte Morris of Mount Gravatt State High School. I assume it's not the same Charlotte Morris in this race who 1 repechage 2, Charlotte Morris from Maribyrnong, the winner of race 337. Charlotte Morris from Mount Gravatt State High School in this race is currently 5th place over on the far side. So 2 Charlotte Morris has entered in the Schoolgirls single scull. But for the Mount Gravatt Charlotte Morris, this may be the end of the journey as far as staying alive into the medal rounds of the racing go. She's back in 5th place at this stage and likely to miss out on the quarterfinals, along with Jessica Corganow of St Peter's Lutheran, who is in 4th place. So our top 3 continue to be Eve Timms from Barker College in lane 4, Abby Boucher from Don College in lane 3, and Paige Cooper from Galen Catholic College in the predominantly blue colours on the grandstand side of the course, who's back in 3rd place, but well clear of the 2 Queensland scullers behind her in 4th and 5th place. So it will be the Barker College sculler, Eve Timms, coached by Robin Mackney, well inside the final 100 metres now. Abby Boucher from Don College is coached by Graham Scattergood, and Paige Cooper from Galen Catholic College, coached by Wesley Canning. And just a few strokes to go for our top 3. And once again, it'll be lane 4 taking out this repechage 4 of the Schoolgirls single scull. Barker College, Eve Timms the win. 2nd place, just to Don, Abby Boucher. And 3rd place, Paige Cooper from Galen Catholic College.
And unofficially, it will be Barker College first, 2nd, the Don College, 3rd, Galen Catholic College, 4th, about to cross on the next stroke, St Peter's Lutheran College, 5th, Mount Gravatt State High School, winning time 8 minutes 34.36. Repechage 5 underway. In lane 3, St Luke's Anglican from Bundaberg. Lane 4, Cardinia International College from Geelong. Lane 5, Cardinia International College, also from Geelong, of course. Lane 6, Lake Ginninderra College from the Australian Capital Territory, and lane 7, St Ignatius from South Australia. And it is Montana Clark who leads in lane 3. She's coached by John Presler and Ralph Brown.
Thank you, Ray. And interestingly, looking back at the first 4 repechages, the wise man who sat in this seat for many years taught us that time's mean nothing in rowing, but that 4th repechage, the fastest by far by about 6 seconds so far in the Schoolgirls single scull.
It's hard not to take notice. And Montana Clark leading here, coached by Johnny Presler. When I was a younger man, when I first started rowing, John Presler was the Queensland representative in the President's Cup. And it's great to see him still here at the regatta and coaching in Bundaberg, as he has done for many, many years, and doing a terrific job.
So 5 scullers on the course in repechage 5 of the Schoolgirls single scull. Montana Clark from St Luke's. St Luke's Anglican in Bundaberg is the sculler over on the far side. And she was leading at halfway, but is under challenge now from lane 6, I would think. Aisling Doyle from the Lake Ginninderra College in the Australian Capital Territory, and 2 Cardinia International College scullers from Geelong in this race. Megan Field would sit 3rd, ahead of Meg Cartwright, and the St Ignatius sculler Cleo Wilson is on the grandstand side and back in 5th place at this stage. But about to, in fact, just going through now the 1500 metre mark, and Montana Clark continues to lead by almost 4 seconds from Aisling Doyle, the Lake Ginninderra College sculler, lane 6, still there in 2nd place. And the 2 Cardinia International College scullers, Megan Field continues to hold down 3rd spot. Her schoolmate Meg Cartwright's dropped back a place to 5th, in fact, as Cleo Wilson from St Ignatius has got moving in the outside lane, but has a lot of work to do still to move up into our top 3. Well, the top 2 at least look safe, but possibly some interest still in 3rd place. But over on the far side, St Luke's Anglican School in Bundaberg, Montana Clark, coached by John Presler and Ralph Brown. And Aisling Doyle towards this side from Lake Ginninderra College, coached by Renee Domichens and Nick Garrett in second place. Still no change in our top two. Montana Clark, Aisling Doyle looking to easily go through to the quarterfinals from this 5th of 8 repechages in the Schoolgirls single scull. Cardinia's Megan Field is still there in third place, it would seem, but the St Ignatius sculler, Cleo Wilson, is looking to close on her, as is the second Cardinia International College sculler, Meg Cartwright. The two Cardinia scullers, both coached by Wayne Nitschke and Anita Whitehouse. A great race in lanes 4 and 5 between those two. I would expect they've raced each other many times in the single scull, these two girls. And Cleo Wilson from St Ignatius joining in. She's certainly in force. She leads Meg Cartwright, but yet to catch Megan Field. Will have to work hard over the final 100 metres if she's to do that and move into a quarterfinal spot. But doing exactly that will be the sculler from Bundaberg over the far side. Montana Clark from St Luke's Anglican School. Couple of strokes to go and she'll be safely home. Montana Clark first for St Luke's Anglican. Second place, lane 6. That's Aisling Doyle from Lake Ginninderra College. And it is closing up for the third and final qualifying spot through to the quarterfinals. But lane 4, Megan Field, has done just enough. She holds on by a length and she goes across to take out third place ahead of St Ignatius in 4th place and Cardinia again in 5th.
Unofficially, first St Luke's Anglican, second Lake Ginninderra College, third is Cardinia College, 4th St Ignatius and 5th Cardinia College. Winning time 8:35.71. Repechage 6 is underway, and at the 1,000 metre mark, Andrea Bruchette of the Trinity Catholic School in Lismore is our leader over Corby Holmberg, Catherine Plume, Brittany Randall, Eloise Mullins and Amy Taylor.
It's Andrea Bruchette, the Trinity Catholic sculler, lane 5. She's coached by Peter Wallace. Seems to have been rowing at these regattas for a number of years already. A very recognisable name on the program, the Trinity Catholic sculler, and she's doing a very good job here. Well clear of the rest of the field in repechage 6 of the Schoolgirls single scull. So Andrea Bruchette had almost 8 seconds at halfway over Newcastle Grammar's Corby Holmberg. Right over on the far side of the course. She's coached by Lucas McBeath and Odin McIntosh. And then some interest still in 3rd place. Our top 2, once again, pretty well clear. But Somerset College, Catherine Plume there in 3rd place. Brittany Randall of Hunter Valley Grammar, Eloise Mullins of All Hallows, and Amy Taylor of All Saints on the Gold Coast. All still looking for 3rd spot at least, and with that a ticket through to the quarterfinals. But Andrea Bruchette still our race leader for the Trinity Catholic College in Lismore. She's extended her lead out by about another 4 seconds over that 500 metres. Now leads by close to 12 seconds over Corby Holmberg from Newcastle Grammar in 2nd place. And Catherine Plume from Somerset College, lane 3, continues to hold down 3rd. She's only a second out of 2nd spot, in fact, at this stage. And almost 5 seconds clear of Eloise Mullins, the All Hallows sculler from Brisbane, who's moved up 1 place over that 3rd 500 metres to now sit 4th. But the 2 scullers, well, behind our race leader, behind our comfortable race leader, the 2 scullers looking to move through with her are in lanes 2 and 3, Newcastle Grammar and Somerset College. And Trinity Catholic's Andrea Bruchette, coached by Peter Wallace, the runaway race leader here. She is well and truly clear of the remainder of the field in that yellow boat, sitting out very, very comfortably in front. And it doesn't look like she'll need to extend herself too much over the closing stages, so she can conserve some energy for the quarterfinals. Still, of course, 3 rounds of racing to go for these Schoolgirls single sculls if they're to go all the way in this event. Quarterfinals and also semi-finals to take place tomorrow. So a big day on Saturday and the finals to take place on Sunday morning, the final day of the Aon Sydney International Rowing Regatta before we move to the interstate racing on Sunday afternoon. So Andrea Bruchette will surely be a part of all that. She's well clear in this 6th repechage of the girls single scull. Still very close between 2 sculls on the far side, Corby Holmberg, Newcastle Grammar, and Catherine Plume, Somerset College, but both will almost certainly now move through to the quarterfinals ahead of Eloise Mullins of All Hallows, then Amy Taylor from All Saints, and Brittany Randall down lane 7 in 6th position at this stage. But it's Andrea Bruchette of Trinity Catholic College in Lismore. Couple of strokes to go and she'll be across to win repechage 6 of the Schoolgirls single scull. She does exactly that now and may in fact have also set the fastest time of the 6 repechages, unofficially about 8:31 her time. 2nd place over on the far side will go to Newcastle Grammar's Corby Holmberg, a length clear of Catherine Plume from Somerset. So they're our 3 qualifiers for the quarterfinals. Ahead, it would seem, of All Saints, All Hallows, and also the sculler from lane 7 from Hunter Valley Grammar.
Unofficially, 1st Trinity Catholic from Lismore, 2nd Newcastle Grammar, 3rd Somerset College, 4th All Saints of the Gold Coast, 5th is All Hallows, 6th Hunter Valley Grammar, winning time 8 minutes 31 point, there you go, 8:32.15 now, Richard, 8:32.15. Repechage 7 is underway, and that is has in it Seton High, Siobhan Rowe, scratch lane 3. Lane 4, Sacred Heart College, Maggie Foley. Lane 5, St Hilda's from the Gold Coast, Sophie Rice. Lane 6, St Aloysius College, Lauren McGavin. And lane 7, Brisbane State High School, Victoria Petrie, or Petrie. We're not sure, Lizzie and I. Happy to be told.
Six repechages down, 2 still to go in the Schoolgirls single scull. The penultimate one on the course at the moment. And the last repechage about to start the 3 o'clock race in the starter's hands right now, in fact. But repechage 7 is halfway through, and Sophie Rice is our race leader from the St Hilda's School on the Gold Coast in Queensland. She's coached by Sean Carroll there, the sculler in lane 5. And she does have a considerable margin back on the rest of the field, almost 9 seconds to Maggie Foley of Sacred Heart Geelong in 2nd place, and then Lauren McGavin of St Aloysius College in South Australia would be 3rd by just 15 hundredths from Victoria Petrie. We'll go with for now from Brisbane State High School in 4th place, and then Siobhan Rowe of Seton High, lane 2 in 5th position. There was a scratching in lane 3. The Barker College sculler has not started this race, so just the 5 scullers on the course and 3 again to move through to the quarterfinals. Almost 1,500 metres done now. In fact, exactly that for our leading sculler from St Hilda's in Queensland. Sophie Rice through comfortably in front. We've had some big wins in this Schoolgirls single scull so far. Another one you would think coming up here to the Gold Coast sculler. She leads by over 10 seconds from Maggie Foley of Sacred Heart Geelong in 2nd place. And Lauren McGavin, St Aloysius, would be 3rd. So it's the 3 scullers in the centre lane at this stage. And McGavin has just been able to extend her lead a little on Siobhan Rowe in 4th. That's the Seton High sculler from South Australia over on the far side in lane 2 with the empty lane beside her, of course. So racing a little bit on her own there out in lane 2, but not too far off the pace of third place. Neither is Victoria Petrie from Brisbane State High School. She's another second or so away from fourth, so just on 3 and a bit seconds outside a qualifying spot to the quarterfinals at this stage. But time running out for those two at the tail of the field. And Sophie Rice continues to charge on her way down towards the finish line. Well clear of the rest of the field. Maggie Foley still there in second place for Sacred Heart Geelong in lane 4. And then the interest really in the remaining 3 scullers. Lauren McGavin still just third. Siobhan Rowe and Victoria Petrie to try and change that over the concluding 250 metres of this race in the 7th repechage of the Schoolgirls single scull. Again, 1, 2 and 3 through to the quarterfinals. The rest of the field will race in semi-finals, but they are semi-finals for qualifications for the lower ranked finals. So in fact, it's the D, E and F finals, I would assume, of the Schoolgirls single scull. So to remain in the hunt for the medals, you need to finish top 3 and race again in the quarterfinals. Sophie Rice from St Hilda's is doing exactly that. We've spoken, of course, a few times today over the success of St Hilda's the last couple of years, culminating in a head of the river win at Lake Wyaralong back at the end of August last year up in Queensland. And Sophie Rice recorded another comfortable race win here over Maggie Foley from Sacred Heart. It's getting interesting for third place. We'll look at that shortly as we watch lane 5. Sophie Rice come up and go across the finish line now. So she takes the win. Lane 4, Maggie Foley will get second. Siobhan Rowe from Seton High is looking good over the far side. She's got herself up into third place now. The sculler from Seton High ahead of Lauren McGavin from St Aloysius and also Victoria Petrie from Brisbane State High. So lane 4 gets second. That's Sacred Heart Geelong, and lane 2, the all-important third spot, Siobhan Rowe from Seton High. Then it was St Aloysius and also Brisbane State High School.
Confirming the results of race 342, the 7th repechage of the Schoolgirls single scull, a win for Sophie Rice of St Hilda's in Queensland. Second, Maggie Foley from Sacred Heart Geelong. Third, Siobhan Rowe from Seton High. And those 3 scullers will progress through to the quarter-final. In 4th position, St Aloysius College sculler Lauren McGavin, and in 5th, Victoria Petrie of Brisbane State High. And they progress through to the semi-finals for the small finals. Winning time was 8 minutes 37.84 seconds. In repechage number 8 of the Schoolgirls single scull, we've got Holly Rowland of PLC Perth in lane 2, Kyan Townend of Urbri High in lane 3, Jade Mansell of Somerset College in lane 4, and she's currently in the lead, Julia Urbano of Alexandria Hills State High School in lane 5, Kirsten Viljoen from Brisbane Girls Grammar School in lane 6, and Gabrielle Davis of Emmas in lane 7.
So the 8th and final repechage of the Schoolgirls single scull. Again, the last 3 spots in the quarterfinals up for grabs here to be decided by the top 3 in this race. And certainly Jade Mansell from Somerset College and Kirsten Viljoen from Brisbane Girls Grammar School sitting first and second to Queensland schools in the top 2 spots. Then PLC from Perth in lane 3 through Holly Rowand, just ahead of Julia Urbano from Alexandria Hills State High School. Jade Mansell still our race leader. We're one of the smaller margins we've seen through 1,500 metres in this 8th repechage of the Schoolgirls single. The Somerset College sculler clear by just over a length, 3.63 seconds is the margin to Kirsten Viljoen of Brisbane Girls Grammar School in second place. A similar margin, just under 3 seconds, in fact, then to Kyan Townend of Urbri High in South Australia, who has moved up to third, moved up 2 spots to third, in fact, over the third 500 metres. So good racing by the Urbray High sculler in lane 3. A big chance now to move through to the quarterfinals. Fourth is still Julia Urbano. And the sculler from Alexandra Hills stayed high. Holly Rowan from PLC Perth just dropped back a little in that 500 metres. And the sculler from Mouse College in Rockhampton, Gabrielle Davis, in lane 7 would be in 6th place, coached by Kim Byrne and Dan Healy there in Rockhampton. But at the head of the field, it is still Somerset College's Jade Mansell in 1st place. Kirsten Viljourn from Brisbane Girls Grammar School, and the darker colours, the dark blue colours closer to the grandstand, would be 2nd. Good race for 3rd. I just saw a couple of messy strokes, I think, come from the Alexandra Hills State High School scull there. Julia Urbano steering a little off course now and having to correct as well, but she's got the boat straight and going again now, but she has the job in front of her to catch Kyan Townend from Urbray High, who's coached by Brenton Terrell and Phil Blessing in Adelaide. Townend would be 3rd, Urbano 4th, Holly Rowan, PLC Perth in 5th place, and Gabrielle Davis from a Mouse in 6th position. But Jade Mansell from Somerset College is now going away in the closing strokes. It looked like it might be close for a little bit, but she's put a couple of lengths on the Brisbane Girls Grammar School sculler, Kirsten Viljourn. Both will go through to the quarterfinals, it would seem, along with the lane 3 sculler, Kyan Townend from Urbray High. But it's lane 4 gets the win. Jade Mansell from Somerset College, the 8th and final repechage in the Schoolgirls single scull. Just over 2 lengths back to Brisbane Girls Grammar School, Kirsten Viljourn in 2nd place. And just holding on, the Urbray High sculler, Kyan Townend, judges it brilliantly and gets home by just under a length. Into the quarterfinals, she goes in the top 3. 4th place goes to lane 5, Julia Urbano from Alexandra Hills. 5th will be Holly Rowan from PLC Perth. And 6th, in a few strokes' time, Gabrielle Davis from a Mouse.
Confirming the results of our 8th and final repechage of the Schoolgirls single scull, a win for Jade Mansell of Somerset College. In 2nd, Kirsten Viljoen of Brisbane Girls Grammar School. In 3rd, Kyan Townend of Urbray High. Those 3 scullers will progress through to the quarter-final. In 4th position, Julia Urbano of Alexandra Hills State High School. In 5th, Holly Rowland of PLC Perth. And in 6th, Gabrielle Davis of Mouse College in Rockhampton.